Okay folks, want to introduce you to the new item here at Rackett. I call it my cross trainer. I started thinking about maybe putting a bunker in and decided that needed a bird that goes at least 65 miles an hour. That's what a bunker bird typically goes. And instead of spending $100,000 on 15 different machines, I decided to get a machine that throws us a bunker bird and we'll throw it out of the ATA, and that's what I call my cross trainer. So I figured that if you can hit a bird at 65 from the 27 or whatever your handicap yardage is, then when you get to the meet, things get pretty easy at 42, 43 miles an hour. So we are putting this in. It is a pat trap. It's loaded so that we can spring it up and throw a 65 mile an hour bird. And again, I'm going to call it my cross trainer, and it will give us the ability when we go to the ATA line at the 27-yard line, that bird will look like it's standing still. So I'm really excited about that. Next, I'm going to show you the other cross trainer where we will work on timing, and we can throw a bird at 80 miles an hour. So stay tuned. I think you're going to really enjoy this segment, the rest of this segment, and we challenge you to take the journey to the Rackett. I want to introduce you to our other cross trainer called the Huntsman 3. This machine will throw up to 100 birds per minute. We can program it to that. We generally don't do that. We'll have 3-man teams or 4-man teams or 5-man teams, and we'll set it probably at around 20 to 25 birds per minute. But I'll give you a demonstration on what this machine does. You can see they throw them high, they throw them low, they throw them. That back one is a wobble. The two front are oscillators. What we're going to do, we got a real treat. What we're going to do is start on trap 4. We're going to shoot ATA bunker, what we call ATA bunker, 65 miles an hour birds. We're going to shoot 5 of those. We're going to go to trap 3 and shoot live birds out of the Columbaire. We'll shoot 5 of those. We'll come over here, we'll shoot wobble, 5 of these. And then we'll go to trap 1 and shoot regular trap. And this is what I'm talking about with cross training. Not only are we having fun, but you're shooting these birds with your trap gun. And you're gonna know that gun before you leave. If you can hit every bird on this, you know your gun, and that just equates to excellent trap shooting. With that, I want to introduce our new head guide, Devin Richardson. And Devin just came to work for us. Why don't you tell them a little something about yourself, Devin?
Hey Stan, thanks for having me here. Name's Devin Richardson, born and raised Oshkosh, Nebraska, just 20 miles south of the ranch here. Been in the hunting business for over 10 years now. I'm glad that Stan gave me the opportunity to come out here and help him out and get this thing going. And he told me if he hired me, that I had to learn how to do trap. So,
so what we're going to do, I said, that is absolutely the requirement that you've got to shoot trap. Now, I'm not going to tell you how good a trap you got to shoot, but I would assume, Devin here, I've seen him hunt, and he's a good shot. He's shot some rounds with me. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make him a project, and we're going to teach you how to shoot some trap, just like someone taught me. And
yeah, I'm excited.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And with the hunting and everything, you know, we got trophy mule deer, whitetail, turkeys, upland bird, chucker, pheasant, and you should come out and check us out.
We're going to shoot with our intensive training program. We're going to shoot bunker from the 27-yard line. These birds are going 65. We're going to shoot 5 here. We're going to go to the next station. We're going to shoot live birds. We're going to shoot 5 chuckers. Ball. 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 Okay, folks, so this is the fun part. The next round we're gonna shoot 5 live birds. We're gonna shoot 5 chuckers. I'm gonna only shoot 1 shot, just like trap, and we'll see what happens. We've got a Labrador retriever out here, so if I hit it, they'll retrieve. Ball! Ball! Okay, next we're gonna do wobble, and I guarantee you this wobble he's going over 65. So let's see if I can hit him. We'll do 5 of these. Ball. 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 Okay, next, the end of the line, we do at the 16-yard line regular trap. And by this point, you're ready to smoke these birds. So let's take a look. Ball. 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 Okay, we just got done with the 5 regular 16-yard singles. Got a little bit of headwind, so we had some lift, but we just smoked those birds. Now we start the process all over again. You get a little exercise. You're shooting 65-mile-an-hour birds, ATA trap. You're shooting doubles. You're shooting live birds. Then you're coming over here and shooting wobbles that are going probably 75. Then by the time you get to the 16-yard line, you just smoke them. And if you shoot a round of 27-yard handicap, everything looks slower, nice, and you stay smooth, and it's easy peasy. So with that, I challenge you to take the journey. We'll see you at Hunt the Rackett. Okay, folks, I'd like to take some time to talk to you about one of our teammates, Team Rackett. He's the captain. His name is Britt Dalton. I met Britt, a while back at the Wyoming State Shoot, and I happened to be shooting on the same squad with him, and I wasn't shooting very good, and let's just say that I was in a great deal of pain. And he happened to notice that, and like always, like we always do when we have a bad round, we go down to the practice field. Well, Britt happened to follow me down there and said, "Hey, do you mind if I take a look at your gun and look at some things?" And next thing I know, we struck up a conversation, and he happened to find out, he made a few tweaks on my gun, and he got me back on track. And so I found out who he was. Right now he's, I don't know, maybe 2 in the nation by one point. And I mean, he won't brag about himself, but I'll brag for him. And I got to know Britt. He had moved from New Mexico. He's in the Hall of Fame in New Mexico with his dad, Corey, and and Randy Foster. They're all friends, and they shoot together. They're excellent trap shooters, and more importantly, they're just wonderful, very nice people. And so I got to know Britt. He had taken a job up in North Platte inspecting wells in the state, as state inspector. And so he'd come to our club quite often and shoot, and he would give me lessons. I mean, he'd actually coach me and what have you. Well, we sponsor him on Team Rackett, and I can't tell you, I mean, I've never met a more personable, a nicer human being, a very nice young man. And he came to me and he told me that he was going to commercial pilot training school in Phoenix. And I was really excited for him, but he told me that he would be out of commission for a while and probably couldn't shoot because he had priorities, and he was spending quite a bit of money on that training and what have you. Well, about 6 months, we kept in touch, and I mean, this kid got his instrument rating and commercial rating and instructor. He's a certified instructor in record time. He probably took a year and a little over a year to get that done. But every time I talked to him, he was just really working hard, and you could tell he was putting a little extra in it. Well, I told him, let's go shoot. And so he met me at the Arizona State shoot. And he was trying to take a little break. Hadn't shot for, about a year. And the second time, we shot 300 rounds, and then they shut the meet down, and then we did the makeup just recently. Well, he came back into the makeup, and it had been 13 months, and he hadn't even picked up a gun. And this kid won HOA. I don't think he even missed a singles target the whole time. Then he went to the Autumn Grand, and I think he missed one singles bird, and I think he took second in HOA, but I think he won HAA. And I mean, just an unbelievable shot. His fundamentals are so sound. He's very intricate. He can coach you on the smallest details. I was shooting my new gun, and I kept going to the pattern board and shooting, and I was always shooting left. So I'd move my comb over and do whatever. Well, his dad would come over, and Britt would come over, and they'd shoot, and they'd be lined up perfectly. I'd shoot to the left. So Britt took a video of me with his phone, and come to find out, I was gripping the forearm like this, and every time I have a release trigger, so every time I would release that trigger, I'd squeeze down on that forearm, and it would move that gun just enough. He caught that. Now, I would have never have found that, and he taught me something that, just a small little thing like that, and we went over the footwork for doubles. Sometimes just a small thing can turn the entire game around. So by knowing Britt, he's taught me, you got to pay attention to the details. And nice young man. I'm just honored. I get to shoot with him and his dad and Randy. We have a good time. We have a fun time. They give me a hard time. I'm kind of low man on the totem pole, but I'm trying to hold my own with these guys, and it's a lot of fun, and I'm just looking forward to shooting with them down at the Spring Grand. Another individual that has made a tremendous difference in my shooting is a gentleman by the name of Mel Hensley. And Mel is a retired firefighter. And at one time, I was a 10-year Denver police officer, and he was on the Denver Fire fire department. So we kind of rib each other. You know, I'm a policeman, he's a fireman. And so we kind of rib each other there. But we still have that kind of a brother, you know, thing. I mean, we served, and he served a lot longer than I did, 30 years. And so, you know, I really want to tell him how much I appreciate his service. I think he retired as a captain. And so he had a really decorated service career. And so I'm proud to shoot with him. But he was shooting lights out last year. I think he was second or third on the vet, in the vet division. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that is very balanced. He has been shooting a long time, but he had a job and he couldn't, you know, he was a fireman, so he really couldn't afford going around the country and shooting. But the guy has got several Grand Slams. He's got the 100s from the 27-yard line. The guy's a tremendous shooter. And he kind of coached me when I first started shooting. And he taught me a lot of things. And it's funny because he would try to coach me, and I didn't know what he was doing until later, you know, like 3 or 4 years later. I've been shooting 5 full years now. And Mel has given me tips that are just really valuable, and I've used those. The intensity. The one thing that I hadn't been shooting with was intensity. And that means when you bring that gun up, that gun mount, and you're about to call for that bird, what are you seeing? I see powder. I try to see it, feel it, know it. You know, I mean, I bring that gun up, and that intensity is, I know that bird is smoke. And that's one of the most important things that he taught me. And for the longest period of time, I wasn't doing that. And just recently I started doing it. And gosh, I mean, the averages started coming up. So I'm really proud. And he's such a good guy. We both have had health issues. So we, you know, old men kind of compare, you know, war wounds and what have you, and heart conditions and skin cancers, and you know, just all kinds of things. So I really enjoyed talking with him on the phone, and he's been a great help. And he's always anxious to help anyone who you know, wants to know about shooting. So, and that's the thing I love about the trap community. What a bunch of great people. I love you all, and you know, I just wish this country's going through some really hard times right now. And I got to thinking, if more people would act like the trap community, we wouldn't have any problems in this country. If we all were like the trap community, we all love each other, and that's what it's all about, love. I mean, loving each other and caring for each other and taking care of each other. I think the world would be a better place if they could emulate the trap community. Okay, folks, we're going to close it out here, but before we do, I'd like to mention a gun club, Barstow Gun Club, out of Barstow, California. These people are incredible. I remember shooting in Las Vegas, and here they came in like an army. There must be 20 of them, and they put together this gun club. And these guys and gals are all just super friendly. They're super happy to be there, and they're pretty darn good shots. And so I want to give a shout out. They sent me a YouTube that they did. I want you to go on YouTube and Barstow Gun Club YouTube. They did a shoot, and it was a kind of a comic relief type situation, and I mean, it is hilarious. We're hoping to put it on our page as well. But go to YouTube, Barstow Gun Club, and you guys, if you want to hoot, and I mean, it's really a well done clip, and it's funny. I was in stitches. So I want to recap what we've been talking about the last day or so, and that is on the doubles. Remember, the foot, positioning your foot. It's very similar to a skiing move if a lot of you have ever skied. If you're on the right side, if you're on post 4 and 5, remember, cock that left foot towards where you're going to hit that second bird. And if you do that, it's almost like you're pushing off. You'll feel the torque on the inside part of your foot, and it feels like when you're going to that bird, it's almost like you're pushing off a little bit. And the same on the left side. You cock that right foot so that you feel that inside edge, and when you shoot that first bird, when you go to the first bird, it feels a little uncomfortable, but that's because you've wound up into that bird, and you shoot that first bird, and you just naturally, with that foot position, naturally go to that second bird. And Randy Foster is one, again, that taught me that, and I really appreciate what he did, because it really turned me around in terms of getting to that second bird a little quicker. The other thing I noticed in reviewing some of the film of me shooting doubles, you'll notice that on that first shot, I noticed that my gun was moving up. And the more I looked at it, I thought it might be recoiled, but the more I look at it, it's more of the way I push to that bird. And it's a dip, it's a dipping. So I push to the bird and I come back. Ricky taught me that dip, Ricky Marshall. And so I push to that bird, and then it's a nice smooth move coming back up to the second bird. So I'm gonna work on that. I think I might be able to shoot that bird a little lower than where I've been, and maybe eliminate some of that accentuated move up. We'll see, but it's not recoil. You can tell that on the single shot with me shooting the gun, it's very little gun movement, and the gun does move me. I just don't feel the recoil anymore. So remember, Phil Sims is in Grand Junction, but again, with the doubles, if it doesn't work for you, remember, don't do it. Just quit doing it. Don't try to force something that doesn't work for you. Trap is a very individual thing. I'm sharing this because my build is different than your build, and so it works for me in going to that second bird. Randy's a little taller as well, so it may not work for shorter people or real tall, I don't know, but it works for me, and it turned me around. I was very excited about it. I want to share it with you guys, and hopefully it'll really help you. Now, the other thing is, I mentioned our clinics. So I will be giving the clinics here. I got to thinking the other day, I did an analysis. We've been shooting now for 5 years, 5 full years. This is gonna be our 6th year. And I analyzed everything. I went back and analyzed all the trials and tribulations I've went through with guns, different guns, being a one-eyed shooter and solving that problem. And it turned out it was just a simple problem of going to get my eyes checked and filling the prescription with Frank Rively. That's the guy that we're supposed to leave the number. We'll make sure Frank's number gets put on the bottom of the page as well. But that was just a simple solution of getting my eyes checked and sending it to someone who can make my shooting classes. But I was almost a whole year as a one-eyed shooter. And I got to tell you, it was very painful to go through. So I really respect good one-eyed shooters now, like Dan Vogel. Dan Vogel's a one-eyed shooter. So my hat's off to him. It was really a painful process. Went through that, went through all kinds of, at one time I thought I wanted to be a top single shooter. And as much as I wanted to be, I was in South Dakota at the state shoot, just in pain. And Britt Dalton is the one that coached me through that. And, I'd call him and say, man, I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't hit anything. And so he did an analysis and found out that the 2 years that I was really shooting well, I was shooting in unsingles. So I called Ray Stafford on the way home from that shoot, and Ray was kind enough to meet me at Colorado Clays and on Monday with a couple guns, and I found the gun that I'm shooting now, the MX-10 RS unsingle. It was love at first shot, and been shooting good with it ever since. So we did that a lot, and just went through shooting too much. I got stale and forgot about the process. Remember, you have to stay in a process. For me, when I go to the line, the first thing I want to do is look at where am I going to see that bird? Where am I going to see the whole bird? And so I bring my hand up, that hopefully the squad leader will throw 2 birds. So make sure you're alert. You go to the line, you bring that left hand up, you see right where you're going to see the bird, the whole bird, and that's going to dictate where you hold your gun and where you're looking. So when I see that bird, I'm going to bring my gun probably right on the house or maybe just a little above the house. And my eyes are going to be right there where I'm going to see that bird, maybe a little lower. When that bird comes out, don't move that gun. See the bird and go to it and shoot it. So Mel Hensley has been very instrumental in put me back in the process. And when I call for the bird, I'm very, that intensity. You want to see and feel yourself breaking that bird, like smoking it. And it's pretty cool because most of the time that's what happens if you're doing everything right. So those are the things I've learned. And then I added up all the money I spent on guns, on ammo. I shoot 300-400 rounds a day. I don't shoot quite as much now. I'm maintaining, I'm shooting really good. About to go to the Spring Grand, and I want to just kind of maintain that wherever I'm at right now. I'm in a pretty good place. So all that, with all the money, I could go to any college in the United States. I don't care if it's Ivy League or what. I've got a master's degree. I mean, I could pay myself through any college, any good college, and have a master's degree. And if I can't teach you how to shoot trap, then I'm not in the right sport. So here's what you're gonna get with me here at the Rackett. You're gonna get a lot of talking, and I will follow through. I promise you, we're probably gonna be friends for life. So you'll be hearing from me quite a bit once a week just to see how you're doing. You're gonna come here, we have all kinds of tools. You saw our cross trainer. We're gonna show you today, before we leave, we're gonna show you the Huntsman. And that is also kind of a training tool that we have. We have Halise, we have and regular ATA trap and sporting clays. And the way that I like to teach is that I want you to know your gun. I want that gun to be part of you. If you can take your trap gun and you can shoot sporting clays with it and hit those birds, if you can shoot Halise with it and hit those birds, if you can shoot a real bird, and you've seen us with the Colin Bear, and shoot that bird with your gun, if you can shoot a 65-mile-an-hour bunker bird, if you can shoot a 55-mile-an-hour ATA bird, a 42-mile-an-hour ATA bird, you know that gun. That gun is part of you, and there is no variation of bird that they can throw at you at any meet that you can't hit. And see, that's where you want to get with your gun. And all that, it just takes patience. It takes going to the pattern board. When you're shooting good, go to the pattern board and shoot 3 times. Take a picture of that and take it wherever you go. Take it to any meet you go to. And if you're at sea level or what have you, go to the pattern board and emulate that point of impact that you had when you took that picture. And you'll be a lot better shooter. But we have the tools. We have the Garmin, we have Shot Cam. So if you're trying to problem solve, you get a problem with doubles or singles or handicap, we'll be happy to work with you there. The other thing that I have is experience. So for the last 5 years, what have I been doing? I've been traveling around shooting and interviewing all the top shooters. I know who gives clinics and a lot of them give the clinics right here. So if you have a problem that I really can't fix, then I'm going to refer you to one of those people. And by interviewing everyone and asking questions and taking clinics, I've got that expertise. If I don't have the answer, I'm going to be able to give you the answer. Now, you may ask, what does all this cost me? And the answer to your question is not a thing. It's not going to cost you a dime to take a clinic with me, because this is what I do and this is my passion, and I want you to shoot good trap. The only charge for you will be for your birds and for your stay here at the Rackett. I will ask you for a donation. If you can't afford the donation, please don't. But the donation will go 100% to Team Rackett. And what we're doing is we're trying to sponsor individuals who we think are future Hall of Fame. These are good shooters that, for one reason or another, life got in their way. They've got a job, they got new kids, they can't afford to shoot, but they're exceptional shooters, and you know who I'm talking about. We want to keep them in the sport because we need the future Harlan Campbells, the future Ray Staffords, the future Ricky Marshalls. We need those icons in the sport. And unfortunately, with the way things go today, with life and expenses, and it's pretty expensive to shoot this sport with guns and shells and events and what have you. You need to have some money to stay in it. And a lot of these people, they're grown adults. Some of them are young adults. We want to help them out. We want to keep them in the sport. And that's what Team Rackett is all about. So I'll ask you for a donation. Whatever you can afford, that's all you have to pay. But the clinic is free. And we're not going to, we'll just talk about it one time. I promise it won't be, pressure sales or anything. But we just want to try and keep the future Hall of Famers in the sport. And believe me, when I say take the journey, it will be a journey. It will be a wonderful journey. It will be a spiritual journey where you're going to learn about the zone here. I can get in the zone when I come out here and walk to the line with the landscape that I'm dealing with. It's amazing. And I could just get right into that zone. I walk up to the line, and when it's my turn to shoot, it's like I go into my room, everything slows down, I call for the bird, I'm seeing it smoke, and when you do that here, you'll see it's a very special place. So I challenge you to take the journey. And if you take that journey, I promise you, we're going to make it very special for you. Whether you're trying to problem solve, whether you're trying to learn trap, whether you just want to get away and relax and maybe do some training, get ready for an event that you're going to go to. But the only problem you'll have is you'll have to talk to me and tell me all your secrets and what have you. And I'll sure be here. I'll be your host. We've got a really good staff. Steve DiGesualdo. Let me tell you something. This guy can shoot, but I think he's a better cook. We want you to come here, take the journey. I challenge you. And maybe you can make Team Rackett. If you come here, I guarantee you, you'll be on your way to making that Team Rackett. And we really welcome you here. So with that, again, take the journey, and we'll see you here. But we're gonna leave now, and I wish you a lot of good shooting out there. Be safe, love one another, and we'll see you at Hunt the Rackett.